Hello, this is David from Project 82 Bullnose, doing some more cluster work. Um, Apparently when I had the cluster out last time, I screwed up the circuit board. Yeah, it happens because it's 44 years old, and crap happens. If it can go wrong, it will go wrong when it's with me. So here we go. Here's the cluster out of the truck. Okay, this with the orange painted needles that we did last time. I know they weren't popular videos, but I'm just showing people how this works. And yeah, so let's go into it. Just in case you're wondering, that is, well, there's actually a 1 there. Can't really see it in this because of the way the light is. Oh, you're not 340. Nope, sorry, it's a 3. 34,480.2 miles, or 3.3 miles, 3/10 of a mile. This is taken out because that's where the little prindle gauge goes, because it's an automatic. And that's going to be replaced eventually too. They're expensive. They're like 80 bucks for the new replacement for them. And I'm not making any money off the channel. This is just me showing you what I'm doing. Because I can, and because it's my dad's truck, I do want to have some kind of visual reference of things that have been done to it. All right. So I'm going to flip this over. And here we're going to take a look at the circuit board. And you can say, okay, well, that doesn't look horrible. And you're right for the most part. These lights still work. These are my LED ones. They still work just fine. These top ones, however, only the turn signals work. And it's interesting. And it's only sometimes the turn signals work. The turn signals on the actual vehicle work just fine. Everything lights up. High beams, low beams, all that works, but it doesn't show anything on the cluster. The cluster doesn't even light up. So, what the fudge? Well, apparently when I put it back in last time, I damaged part of where the connector is for where the harness connects. So this one's broken, this one's peeled back, this one's missing altogether, and again, it is original as far as I can tell. So there's that. Now this specific one, see if I can zoom into that part number there. This is the, what does it say? Looks like an EIT. Sorry, I can't see it because the way the camera is. EIT F10C 956CA 42 of 459, whatever that means. And you can actually see the date code on here, 04/03/1982. I don't know what the 178 means, but that is the date code otherwise. This is a Canada-made product. Truck's made in Canada. And I had just replaced the instrument cluster voltage regulator a couple of times ago. So we're going to be reusing that part. The rest in here, we may not be. All right, so these Ford connectors, I got to pull all these out anyway for the circuit board. They all have brand new 194 bulbs in them. Here's just the 194 bulb. Okay, they're all brand new. These terminals are, well, again, 44 years old. They're not the greatest of shape. Let's see if I can get some light on the subject here. Do I have a flashlight nearby I can use? There we go. Better. But, yeah, let's see if I can get something that's not super bright. There we go. They're all kind of corroded. You can see some of the terminals inside are kind of rusted, really from humidity and being old age. When I used to work for Carolina Auto Supply House here in Charlotte, North Carolina, they had dozens of these, and I never picked them up because I didn't have a vehicle for them. And that was my stupid fault. Now, I did buy some. I got like a 25 pack floating around here somewhere. I don't know where. I have to go find them. But, yeah, I'm losing things on my little desk here already. So these are all going to be replaced before I put the cluster back in. I just have to find them. I know they're around here somewhere. Some of them are a little hard to remove. Because, again, they are original. So I'm going to pull out all of those first. And you'd be wondering, like, wait a second, if you're going to replace the circuit board, what are you replacing it with? Well, so these are LEDs, they're white. They used to have a set of blue covers on the inside, which I removed, I think last time or time before I showed how to remove them. And so they used to glow green originally. Using the fluorescence that was on the needles and the kind of blue light they had going on the inside, they glowed. But they don't do that anymore. It was only good for about a year or two, and they started disappearing. And I don't have any radium to redo that with, and I'm not going to. I picked up these LED lights quite a few years ago from eBay. They still sell them as sets. And that's it. And they're actually specific sets for this. Now, I'm going to peel this off. Not like I'm going to need it. There we go. That's the connectors for the instrument cluster voltage regulator. I don't remember which size. I picked up two. This is an 8mm. Let's see if that works there. No, it's still kind of loose. This one is 6.5. Bingo. That works. So, didn't have any specialty tools floating around at my desk. This is just what I got floating around here. Let's not tighten it. We're going to take the instrument cluster voltage regulator off. Now, okay. This is the easy part. We'll take that handy dandy little screw and washer and put it to the side. Actually, it's going to go sit right on top of the power station that's running the lights. Are up here, which is that right there. It's an EcoFlow River 3, I believe it is, and it's what's running my lights. Those right there. And this is the switch that's going to be in the dashboard soon. So lots of cool stuff going on. All right, so the instrument cluster voltage regulator pops right out on the top there. Now, the big problem for people is getting these damn things on and off. And they are a problem. I may end up having to take the cover off, the plastic cover off the front, and stick my hand in the back to be able to push them through. But you might be wondering, okay, great, so you have some kind of plan here, but what am I going to replace this with? Well, if you saw the prior video about really Jegs, they sent me this gigantic box. This is all that was in it, but it was in a gigantic friggin' box. So this is a brand new replacement. Everything is supposed to line up. We're going to find out, but it looks like it's going to. This is made for the E1TF-CI, which is actually, maybe that's what it's supposed to, instead of EI, TF, E1TF, and CA for the last digits on the code. Because there's a whole bunch of different versions of it. If it has a tachometer, which this one doesn't, which is a diesel model, excuse me, they have models that don't have the warning lights at the top. They have some that don't even have lights at all. Just enough to run the gauges, and that's it. So this might fix, can't guarantee it, but it might fix the reason why the temp sensor does not work great, and it might fix the oil pressure sending unit from not showing properly either. Now, I fixed the fuel. That one needed this, the instrument cluster voltage regulator, and the charge is now fixed with the upgraded wires to the battery. You know, positive to the starter solenoid and ground from the battery to the frame and then to the block. That actually helped out a lot, so that actually reads a lot better than it used to. This is not a voltmeter. And you're going to say, well, it says D and C, discharge and charge. There's no volts. So if it's charging, the arrow will be that way. If it's discharging, like the electrical load is too much or there's some kind of fault, it'll go that way. They do make digital versions of these, and I thought about doing it, but I'm not that far into fixing the wiring to even attempt that mess. And I also don't have $1,900 to change all of this over to LED and make it digital. I thought about it, but it's way outside of my price range. Because remember, I'm doing this on a really tight budget, which is just what I have available to fix my dad's truck. Because I want to fix it for him, even though he's already passed away. So we're going to pull this out of here. And we're just going to lay it over the top, just to see if everything lines up, as pretty close as it's supposed to, right? So this is over a little bit farther. Well, maybe not. So let's see if that's there. Nope, that actually looks like it'll be pretty good. Might be a little bit of fiddling with how this is in here, but that looks pretty good. By the way, let me take this off. Here's the part number I'm using on this one. This is by Jegs. LMC makes them. There's a whole bunch of versions, but this was the easiest one for me to figure out. So this is part number 19094. This is Jegs version OEM style instrument panel printed circuit board 1981 to 1986 Ford truck and Bronco with factory gauges and without. It's supposed to say tachometer. So this is one without a tachometer. All right. So you know what's going on there. So now we're going to take off the rest of this mess. And for the most part, we're just going to pull them off. Right? But it's going to get tricky here because these things are a nightmare. These are an absolute mess. And I'm going to show you what we're going to do with that. All right, so I don't know what they call these things. And I think I had tested by taking this one off. So the good news is they're on metal studs, but the studs move. So you'll see me fighting with it for quite a while on that. Most of this will come off pretty easy. It's just where it's over these gauges, it's a problem. And we're going to take a better look at this old circuit board once this is all off. I can see all sorts of corrosion. It's actually separating in places like that. So got pretty much everything off except these 8. So how do you get them off? Some people will use little pliers. These are Klein tools. These are from my EDC kit, and you can kind of put them on the flats and turn, and that will work. It's just going to be time consuming. You can do that just fine. But I think that's the reason why I got these. Unfortunately, I only have these really thin sockets. This is an 8 1/4 inch drive, and I only have a 3/8 drive ratchet, so I have to use the step down, the adapter. But these fit perfectly on here. So you can take it off by hand if you wish. Like that. And that's what's on the inside. So they're not bad. You could, if you wanted to, clean them up with maybe a little bit of sandpaper or some kind of abrasive to clean them up. I'm actually going to use toothpaste is what I'm going to use on it, because that'll both clean it and it is abrasive. I'll use an old toothbrush and real toothpaste and clean them up. Now, you don't have to worry about which position they are. They're all in the same size. So, oh, see, that one doesn't work. Why does that one seem to be a different one? Oh, that's right, because I have the wrong socket on there. Da-da-da. I have no problems making fun of myself, because I am not an expert at this. I'm just fixing problems as they arise, and they arise quite often. That one's not bad either. Now, if one of them is bad, I have no idea how to find a replacement on them. I could probably go to Jegs or LMC or just Bronco's Graveyard. Somebody's got to have it. All right, so this is one I had a problem with earlier. It moves. It physically moves up and down. And that's on the gauge on the inside that I have. Can't stick my finger in here to get to it. There's no place. Now it looks like they both move. So I'm assuming, because they all move there, it's probably not only what holds the gauge in place, but it also gives it power. So that's lovely. Let me take this one out of the way. I'll put it back up top here on top of my keyboard and go from there. Ow. So I expect to have a problem getting these back on, simply because that's what holds the gauges in. So I'm probably going to have to end up taking the front face off and putting my finger up against the gauges to get that going. Now, obviously this is in real time. I don't know how to do any of the special magic with editing programs. I have a basic, well, I don't have a basic editor. I have a really nice editor, but I'm still learning it. Been learning it for 3 years now, and I can fix some audio in it, and that's about it. It is way above my head, but it is considered one of the best. All right, so now, bloop, pops right off. I might, I don't think I have a compressed air can nearby to clean that. But here is the old circuit board. See how bad the damage is at the ends here where the connector presses in, and you just press against it. You can see how some of these are green underneath, and it's not paint, that's actually corrosion on the copper. So a lot of these are in really, really bad shape. Here, let's see if I can peel those back so you can see it. So those are all in really bad shape, the ones that are there. There's some that are missing. This side, same thing. I had glued them down, but obviously it wasn't enough. So those are all pretty bad. This whole corner peels right up. So that looks like maybe a ground connection or something of that nature. Whoop, that one just fell off completely. That's just how bad it is. Will it focus? There it is. So that little edge piece just broke off, and there it is. It's that easy. You can see how corroded it is. It's not supposed to be green. So yeah, that's what we got to do there. So, I mean, most of this board doesn't look bad. It's really just the main connector and all that stuff up there. These actually don't look bad either for the gauges. They're not perfect, but look at the other side. Again, these are supposed to be copper colored, right? And the back side, you can see how bad they are with all the corrosion and dirt and debris. So as an example, so this is the new one. That's the front. That's the back. That's how they originally came from factory. They're not painted green. So it is what it is. So this old one is being sent off. Right? This new one is being put on. Just cleaning off a little bit of the dirt. I don't have anything here other than maybe some dude wipes to clean this up, which, yeah, I could probably do that. But I'm lazy. So we're going to go put this on here. Make sure everything lines up properly. Get these to fit in little holes. Now, interesting to note, these aren't metal tipped around. The old ones, well, some of them anyway, have little metal push-throughs on them through the copper. Some of these do not. So something has changed. And to get these on here, they're a little bit difficult sometimes. You could take your socket and then push down. It's easy as that. Like this one. Bloop. Simple. Now these are where they're going to be problematic when we put those back in there. This needs to fold in, so does that. So let's go put these in first. 1, 2, 3. So pretty. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This one doesn't quite line up right. So here, where this is fine for the most part. This one here has some little notches to put, something in, but there's nothing there, and you kind of have to bend it around to make that fit. So it's a little iffy there. So it's not perfect. This is going to come back down because we got to bend it a little bit. Take my handy dandy socket, put it over the hole, and it fixes it. Same with this one here. That lines up perfect, which is nice. And I don't actually have another little pin, do I? I do not. Alright, well, not the end of the world, just different. Well, actually, it's not really different, it's just, I guess it didn't check very well. So this one here will fold over when we put the instrument cluster voltage regulator back in. I really should have cleaned it, but whatever. It is what it is, because I'm going to have to take this out again soon to replace the prindle at the bottom here. That's where that goes, the prindle. So I'm going to have to do it anyway. Maybe then I'll clean it up. Now, should I work on this part first, or should I put that in first? Well, let me see how much I have to struggle with these. This one actually goes in pretty far. So that one's going to be this one here is, I think, going to be the biggest pain in the butt. Let me see if there's a way I can lift this up so you guys can see it better. Let's see if I have anything I can hold it up with. How about this flashlight? There we go. Finally, a use for this Woobin flashlight that I'm really unhappy with. So, it's not perfect, but that'll work. And let me pause this for a second, and I will be right back. All right, slight change of plans. Okay, so cleaning these up. This one I cleaned up a little bit. You can see it's a little shinier than the other ones. Didn't do the toothbrush issue. I actually found, I forgot that I was in the process of overhauling this bathroom. This is the waterproof aluminum oxide sandpaper to clean up the copper pipes. So I just take a little bit of this, pretty much stick it in the center here, and scuff it up a little bit, clean it up a little bit. So that's what I was doing. And let's see if I can get this on here. So this one you can see as soon as I try to put it on there, it just about disappears. So we're going to have to fiddle with it. Oh, there we go. Now it's pulling it back up. Now I'm not going to tighten it immediately because I still got the other 7 to do. I'm going to do both gauges at the same time. I don't know why people struggle taking these things off. I know they can be a problem, but just using proper tools. I mean, I don't even have proper tools. I just found what fit and go from there. Ow. They are sharp though. These little edges are quite sharp. They kind of tear up your finger in the process. It's because they're like little springs that help hold it in place. Now, is there a reason to really be going back and forth like this? Not really. I'm just used to how I'm doing things. This one needs a little bit more cleaning. There we go. What do I prefer? Something quite a bit better than 120 grit? I think that's what that is. It might tell me in here. Yeah, it's 120 grit. I would have preferred something much finer than 120 grit, but it works. So there we go. Here's someone's being a temperamental little pain in the butt. There it goes. All right, so now I'm going to hand tighten them with a socket. We do this one up here so you can see me Tighten it. Because they don't have to be super tight. And of course, don't drop the tools. I was trying to make this video short, but there's a lot of information here. Anybody want to guess what the torque rating on these are? They're very, very low. So the torque rating on these, I believe, are only like 3 inch-pounds. So pretty much turning them a quarter of a turn, or once I start to feel a little bit of resistance. Because I don't want to make them so tight that I damage the gauge on the opposite side. There we go. And voila. Are we done yet? No. Close. Very, very close, but not quite done yet. So a couple of things. We need to put these lights back in. These over here. But we also still need to put this instrument cluster voltage regulator. Because if we don't do that, it's not going to matter. Because nothing is going to work. Now the other thing I want to make sure, is I'm putting this in here like that, I want to make sure that these are going to line up in the proper places. And they are. So that's good news, because they're supposed to. You'd be surprised how many times I've taken something apart, and there'll be a special tool or something. You get the tool, and then you get the new version, and it doesn't line up because it's made backwards or something of that nature. So, again, that one's the wrong size. So let's go use the small one. So this one was, instrument cluster voltage regulator is 6.5 millimeter. So I'm using like the oldest ratchet I have because it's the only one I have in this room. There we go. So this works like a 9-volt battery. It's not a 9-volt battery. It's a resistor on the inside. It's a bunch of squiggly lines on the inside that give the specific amount of ohms, I believe, to get the gas meter, the gas gauge to work properly. So it looks like a 9-volt battery connection. You probably could, I don't have a 9-volt battery over here. I'd say you probably could put it on there and short everything out. Now also to note that from Jegs who made these, they put tape, like cellophane tape, over the back. And I'm assuming they're not on the front. Well, not much on the front. I'm assuming it's to protect you from zapping anything on the back while you're putting it back into the car. So that goes in, and that goes in. And now this one's nice because it has a little tab to pull it off of. The old one I think did too. It did. It's just in bad shape. Out of curiosity, so the OE has just these large connections sitting out there, and they're not protected by anything. So those hopefully will last longer. Next, we're going to put all the lights in. Remember to put the LED ones back in the center here. Now, the issue with this is I won't know until tomorrow if some of these bulbs, I believe, were indexed, where you had to put them in a specific orientation. But I am going to find the new ones I have for this and put them in so that this will be ready for tomorrow. Essentially, this is what you're doing. So the ones, your main lights that I have LEDs on is this one, and this one, this one, this one, and this weird one on the corner here, which you probably can't see. So let me try to get that on the view here. All right, so I would say right there. Still feel like they should have put a tab or something there, but suppose this works. That one doesn't feel like it's in right, so let me flip that around. Well, maybe it was. It just didn't feel like it had a good connection. Now it's calling me a liar because it's not lining back up. What the heck? Oh, it's stuck in the circuit board. That's weird. Put that back in. All right, I guess it is what it is. So not everything always works perfect for me. Now for these, they're going right back in on the top. Now, will I eventually make them all LEDs? Probably not. The reason, not cost, but these top ones are just warnings. And they have these little, there we go. They have these little blackout sections with just the symbol that's in it. I believe it's high beam and brake, and the outer ones are turn signals. I don't remember what that one was. Maybe door open or something. See, they don't even line up right. That drives me nuts. I won't call myself OCD, but I'm very obsessive compulsive disorder, right? I would have preferred them all being in the same direction, just because that's, to me, would look better that way. So good news is we didn't have to take the front cluster off, the front plastic off. But if for some reason you need to, I will show you how to do that real quick. So we're going to flip this over. Now it's going to sit kind of wonky because of the speedometer sticks out. That's the end for the speedometer. This is the actual part that controls the speedometer. See, if I spin it, I can get it to go up and down. So that's what that's for. But if for some odd reason, that's the inside if you're looking for the prindle, when you take this out or if it's already out, there are two really small screws in the back that hold the prindle on. And that also uses that same tiny 6.5mm screw. Take those out. And then the prindle pops out. It's going to give it a little bit of a playing with, but it'll pop right out. You can see how old this is. It's all cracking and degraded. But if for some reason you need to pull the lens off, let's see what size these are. Yep. So they are 6.5mm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You take those 6 out, the whole lens comes out. You can clean it up, polish it up, which I've done a whole bunch of times, and I can still not get any of this crud off it. And go from there. And there's some stuff floating around on the inside, which is interesting. I don't know if you can see that in this top corner here. I don't know if it's glue, and it's also there too. Well, it definitely moves on the inside. I have no idea where it went. But making sure these, pressing on the gauges in the back, make sure they're not moving anywhere. That's all good to go. And that's it. So that is how you replace the circuit board on the back of your old Ford pickup. Now, I don't know about GM or any other brand out there, or Dodge. Those are the main three here in the US. If their circuit boards back in the day were set up the same way. So the next step would be to put the big connector in. And these do feel like they're exposed, so that's good news. So this essentially gets folded in. I would love if they had put a pin on either end. Make sure that it's all nice and pretty. Put the main connector in and the speedometer connection, and that should be it. It should work perfect after that. I also like how this says replaces on it, so you know that the instrument cluster circuit board has been changed. What I'm going to do with the old one, I haven't decided yet, because the old one's in bad shape. I don't think I'm going to, I'm definitely not reusing it for anything. I might make a little bit of desk art or something. Get like a black background. Put this on here, maybe light it up with some LEDs, just something different. Now, there is another option to this instrument cluster voltage regulator. There is this. This is the TE110-ADJ. So this is an adjustable switching regulator. 25 watt step down adjusting regulator. This is from superdroidrobots.com. Now, I did not come up with this solution. Somebody at the Bullnose forums came up with it. I believe Gary himself, because he's the electrical engineer for everybody there. So you pretty much have voltage, ground, and it looks like voltage in. So it's a 3-pin. You'd have to make your own connectors. And this thing is dry rotted because I've had it for a while. I was going to do this a while back, and I'm still probably going to do it since I did pay for it. This is tiny little piece here. I don't know if you could see that well. My fingers are all pretty much messed up. There's a little adjustable screw on the back, which I cannot get to focus. There it is. And 3 pins. Now the 3 pins, you could use like computer pins, something small, or you can, pretty much got to come up with something that fits those 3. But it does remind me of a computer setup. There's a little circuit board inside. So this is essentially an adjustable regulator. This will work in the same position as that. So you're going to have to connect to the circuit board that way to here, and then ground to probably the chassis. And then to adjust, you just turn that screw really quickly. And I say quickly so you don't burn something out. You're going to have a voltmeter on it, or a multimeter on it, and be able to set it really quickly. So this way you have an adjustable way of controlling your gas gauge. So if it's off a little bit or off a lot, you can adjust it. But I would highly recommend you go onto the website at the Bullnose forums to take a look on how to do that, because I am not an expert. I'm just giving you an option. All right. So that's it. Questions or comments, leave them below. I will try my best to answer them. This is 1021 plus. I think I'm at like 33 channels, but this is, this is kind of a, this is kind of something for my dad. Because it was his truck before he willed it to me, because he died in August of last year. From cancer, of course. Because I was working on the truck with him back then, and I'm going to keep going from there. I also have a teaser coming up, which includes these gauges that are going inside the dash. I have somebody help me make a new faceplate for it to fit where I want it to go. But lots of interesting stuff going on. It all has to do with the rewiring of the truck, not counting changing the alternator, because that is a big one coming up. And I'll be a 1-wire alternator, so I can get rid of the, or at least hide the voltage regulator, the external one, and a new starter setup. So I'm thinking that's a little bit more reliable. But lots and lots of stuff going on. Sorry this video is so long, but I want to show people how to change these, because these tend to be a problem for people. Again, if for some reason you couldn't just simply push these back on, you'd have to take the lens off on the other side. Stick your hand in the back, push the gauge forward to the back in order to be able to get them on there. So it is what it is, right? But thank you for watching. Questions or comments, leave them below, and I will answer them as soon as I can. As I said, I have a lot of channels, so I'm very all over the place, very ADHD. So as I fix things and work on things, whether it be the truck or my car, which I haven't touched my car in years other than regular maintenance, or working on the house, or working on the garden, or my main channel, Survival Driver, there's a lot. There's a lot of stuff going on there. I also run ADHD Prepper, which I haven't done anything on because I keep getting sidetracked with other projects like this. But so thank you for watching, and have a glorious night. And where did I put the mouse? Here it is.